In the third video of this series, we're going to look at how to put your video together to make it look like a convincing set of actions. So we're going to be looking at cutting on action. I've got some existing footage from a video that I made last year, and I'm talking to the camera, and then I pick up a jug, I pour some water into a bowl, and then I put the jug down again. First of all, I'm just going to drag the clips into the timeline. So the first clip is this one. The second clip is this one here. And then the third clip is this one here. Now, let's have a look at what they look like. Now, I start off by talking to the camera. And at a certain point, I then pick up the jug and start pouring.
So the final ingredient is my water. And what I've done is I've mixed in the salt into here, and I'm going to stir that around until the salt's dissolved. Now what that means is that when you finally mix the water into your flour mixture, the salt will be then evenly distributed through the rest of the ingredients. So time to get everything mixed together. Let's do it.
Now I've chosen the motion of picking up the jug as being the motion where I cut, so that it can then cut smoothly into the next shot. So you see here the little scissors on the playhead. I can now just press that and it will cut that in two, and it releases then this small part of the clip, which can then be deleted. I just hit the delete key on my keyboard. I can then drag this back so that it butts up against the point where I cut it. And if I just have a look now,
time to get everything mixed together.
So that's the end of the last clip. I now want to have a quick look at this clip here. So let's look at this clip. And there you see the jug coming in, pouring the water onto the flour. So I want to cut this clip just at the point where the jug comes into the shot about there. So now I'm going to cut and delete this part. And let's see what the result is.
The salt will be then evenly distributed through the rest of the ingredients. So time to get everything mixed together. Let's do it.
And what I want then to do is for my second cutting on action join, I'm going to put the jug back down on the table. So the water's gone in, and then the jug goes back down onto the table. So I'm going to cut this clip right at that point where I pull the jug away and the jug starts its journey down onto the tabletop. So I'm cutting it there, deleting this part, and then putting this part up against it. And let's have a look at this clip.
Now there's only really one way to get this all mixed. Now comes the fun part. There's now really only one way to get this all mixed together, and that's with your hands. So I'm going to clean up a little bit just here. I'm going to go wash my hands, and then we'll get going with mixing the dough.
So that's the clip, and I want to use that last part of the part where I just put the jug down and then talk to the camera. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see where we are, and then I can drag the playhead across to see where we are. You can see here I'm talking to the camera. And what we're looking for is when I'm putting the jug down. Just about that point where I'm bringing the jug down and putting it on the table. There. That's where I want to cut. right there I've got my cut. I can then delete this part, and once I zoom back out again, I can see that I need to then drag this clip across so that it snaps up against the edge of the previous clip. And now let's look what's happening.
Now,
and I seem, just purely by chance, because often it takes a little bit of adjustment, I seem purely by chance to have got it absolutely perfect there. So let's watch that again. The jug pours the water, gets pulled away, and then just as you expect it to go down, it hits the table. The final thing we want to do is just check that everything looks right. So I'm just going to drag my playhead. I'm not going to take it right back to the beginning, but I'm going to just put it about here. And what you can do is you can just hit the play button right in the middle here, and you can also see it full screen. So let's take a look at that.
So here, and I'm going to stir that around until the salt's dissolved. Now what that means is that when you finally mix the water into your flour mixture, the salt will be then evenly distributed through the rest of the ingredients. So, time to get everything mixed together. Let's do it. Now comes the fun part. There's now really only one way to get this all mixed together, and that's with your hands. So I'm going to clean up a little bit just here. I'm going to go wash my hands, and then we'll get going with mixing the dough.
So it could still probably do with a little bit of adjustment, but you get the idea of how the movement of the jug has been used to join all those three shots together. Okay, I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll talk about some of the other features of WeVideo in the next videos.